Okay, part one of a lot of how my California tenant tried to pull the hokey joke on me. I'm a landlord in California and in the state of Georgia, and this is part one of how my tenant tried to pull the hokey joke on me. And I follow up all my information by paperwork. I document everything. So, let's go ahead and start off with she was a Section 8 tenant. I wanted to do Section 8 after the pandemic because the pandemic taught me that, people can live in your property without paying in the
Hmm.
state of California and you're SOL. And I inherited my property. I'll go back on the backstory with that later, but I inherited my property and I had a mortgage to be paid still. And yeah, so anywho, she was Section 8, and I have no problem with Section 8 people. I actually, I'm a little 40% right now, like after she did what she did. So, will I have a Section 18 again? To tell the truth, as of right now, no. So, she had 4 kids. She only had 3 living with her, and I have family in my and family that use Section 8, and so I felt okay with using it. So, anywho, she liked the property. I told her that if you do choose this home, please know that there will be an ADU built in the back. So please do not store any of your items in the garage. I had her sign paperwork, which I will furnish and show that on the date of move-in, she signed paperwork that she acknowledged, agreed, and understood that in the future that there will be an ADU built. So, document number one. I'm already lining her up to let her know that I mean business and I will not do anything that you will not like. So I told her, do not choose this unit if you are not okay with that. Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. Okay, great. Signed the lease. Um, she went ahead and moved in November of 2022. Before that, I was doing Airbnb. Didn't really like it, so I said, okay, my whole goal is let me provide a nice, beautiful home for somebody else to enjoy. I enjoyed this house from 1999 all the way to 2015 until when I moved to Georgia. And yeah, so, and then
Y'all, I want to get some more context because we're still kind of fleshing everything out here. But just wanted to remind at the beginning, if you could like the video, it does help more than you know. It actually does make a very big impact. So I just wanted to make that reminder. I know it's easy to forget. I forget all the time, but it actually does help a lot. Let's get back into it.
we just kept it until we figured out what we were going to do. So, anywho, she moved in, and of course, I still have the ring cameras up. I'm a looky-loo person. I like to look. I like to people watch. So I see her move in. She paid me $6,000 to move in. My rent was, I believe when she moved in, $3,100 a month, $3,200 a month. I can't recall, but I have paperwork and I will bring that back and show you. So she moved in, paid $6,000 cash money, like houseway. Somebody receiving government assistance can put down 6 racks.
Hmm.
Houseway, cause baby, I want to know. Anywho, so around that time was Thanksgiving. So then she turned around and bought all new flat screen TVs. I told her that she could mount them. Just make sure that it's professionally done so that none of the beams and were messed up or the drywall. Anywho, she brought in like not six, 3 big screen TVs. More than 3. I don't know. Anywho, so yeah, everything was copacetic. Everything was good. She let me know when things were messed up. I fixed them promptly. So I had inspections every 3 months because she was a Section 8 tenant and I needed to build that rapport, that trust with her. I did not want to meet her at first. When she first moved in, I didn't want to meet her. But I feel like after maybe 6 months of living there, I met her. I made sure that every time I went over there, I looked professional. I didn't look like, you know, some old gaudy girl.
Okay, let's get in here for a second, y'all, because we still haven't really gotten to the situation that happened. She slightly touched on the issue at the beginning, but we haven't actually got the facts of what actually happened yet. But what we did get was another data point, another case study that just can go in our database to understand. Let's lay this out cleanly. Section 8 tenant, she mentioned she came in, she had 3 flat screens, big ones, big ones, as well as she literally, keep in mind, she's a Section 8 tenant, but I guess this woman wanted some type of deposit or something like that. Basically, still to secure the property, put a little skin in the game. And the woman who's on Section 8, which is basically stating that you would, in my mind, you would be homeless if this program didn't come and save you. But apparently that's actually not the case, because she dropped 6 racks like it was nothing. Listen, if you think the woman gave her last, then I've got a bridge to sell you somewhere, because people wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do that if she didn't have to. So if she was able to come out 6,000 just like that, then we have to start to imagine, like, well, how much in reserves does she actually have? And then we can also try to understand, okay, she lives in California. She had money saved, a hefty amount of money saved, and you live in California. Why couldn't you have went and took all the money you have saved and went to a lower cost of living place that could have floated you by for a little while, and then you could have got a job there or figured it out there? You can't tell me that this person is not exploiting the system and they have all this money stashed away somewhere. But let's go ahead and get back into it. That's just what flagged in my mind. I'm finally ready to actually get to the situation and the altercation, ultimately.
Girl, and everything was good. You know, it was always clean. It always smelled good. You walk in the house, it smelled like bacon, or it smelled like candles. And the main things that I was looking for as a property owner is water damage, lines, just anything that a tenant would not look for, because you do not want a bigger problem, so you try to get the problem while it's small. So that's pretty much it. Just making sure everything was working efficiently. We were great for 2 years. 2 years we did the inspections. And then every 3 months we did the inspections. And then the ADU started. I had to get permits and everything. So everything took some time for me. So in, I want to say June of 2024, we started the ADU construction. The first thing they did, okay, no, let me back up. So baby girl, after I would be doing the inspections, I noticed that she would be storing stuff in the garage. I'm like, here we go. I specifically asked you not to do so because I do not want you to have to move all your stuff out. That's why I said no garage. I offered to get her a little she shed, like a shed, to buy that, to put it. Oh no, it's not needed. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, yes, it's needed, because you have your ring light, your little eyelash tech stuff in the garage, and purses, boxes. I specifically told you no. Here you are, disobeying. So now you're on my bad side, and I have to watch you closer. So that was like write up. I don't want to say write up, but that was a paperwork number one. It's a lot of paperwork. I will follow up with paperwork. Like if you did something, I needed to write it down so that you know that I'm creating a paper trail, because that's what my mom taught me. Watching Judge Judy, if you don't have no paper trail, oh baby, it's he said, she said, and it has to be something that's signed, and so it could be legal. Anywho, so she would have over people storing cars in the back, storing everything in the garage, and I would have to tell her, like, hey, move this stuff. Low riders. I'm just like, okay, Landra, don't be too overbearing because you don't live there, so let her enjoy the house, but still just keep your rule intact.
It's kind of funny because, like, she did everything indirectly, right? She got her paperwork signed. She told her 2 years ago not to put anything in the garage, all this type of stuff. But for me as a man, like, who also is thinking just, I'm thinking long term. If somebody gets used to this property and gets more comfortable, she's going to eventually creep her way into that garage. So, I mean, it's probably got a door on it, something closing it off before she opened it. Either like just deadbolt lock it shut so that a person literally can't access it, or at least like go on Amazon and buy a little sign or something that says restricted area. That way, it's always a reminder. You always see it there. Do not come in here. Restricted area. Shoot, I'd have got creative. I'd have put caution tape all through just to make it clear. Like this, I have plans for this, and it wouldn't. That would have been pretty cheap, and it would have been a reminder. And what that really would have done for me is now you have no room to play in my face when I come to you and you're like, oh, I didn't know. What you mean? We don't even have to talk about what we talked about 2 years ago. This, you didn't see this sign that says restricted area as a reminder? I would have even walked her through it at the beginning. Like, look, I'm putting this restricted area sign on here. You see this? Anytime you get close to this door, remember this sign right here. Because if you say that you don't remember it, there's not going to be any excuse. I'm just going to look at you like you're crazy because you know this area was restricted.
Which is, do not use the garage. I would ride past the house. I see the garage door up. This guy with a blue lowrider. It was nice. Blue lowrider hiked up, and I hit the block like 3 or 4 times. So he came outside looking like, you looking at me, I'm looking at you, because what you doing in the backyard? I don't know you with the garage up. So, whatever. That's just like the company she likes to keep. Whatever. But just make sure I stay on top of my business with her to keep your things out of the garage. So, like I mentioned, despite that, like little hiccups, she was a good tenant. She made sure that she informed me of stuff like I mentioned so I could go ahead and fix it. She moved in with appliances already there, the refrigerator, the stove, and so that was stuff that I used in the Airbnb. I could have threw it out, but I decided not to. So she had the refrigerator, the stove, the microwave, and outdoor furniture. So everything that stayed there, like that she wanted to keep, I had her sign itemized sheet. She provided me. She like bought it from me, like maybe one TV, the outdoor furniture, stuff like that, and she paid, and we had written a receipt. So everything, like I mentioned, was followed in black and white with her. And so, everything was good. I had no problem with her. I love to see her kids enjoying the house. I love to see her enjoying the house. Everything was great. But as I mentioned, when I started the ADU and I couldn't do the inspections like I wanted to, everything turned left. And
Mm,
I didn't like it. She had a different type of demeanor. So
she
when I
switched
approached
up.
her again before the ADU started, I said, "Hey, we're about to start doing the ADU." She was like, "Oh, I don't recall that. I don't remember that. I don't like that," and just stormed off crying, hysterical, mad. I'm like, ma'am, when you moved in November of 2022, I specifically told you, had a document, you signed it, understood, seen the plans, and you agreed and understood that this ADU was going to be happening. But whatever. So that inspection that day was just like, it was crazy. And I don't know, I don't want to make her cry, but I just want to let her know I'm standing on business and I'm about my business like I told you what I was going to do. I'm not going to make no moves just out of the blue. Why? Because it's your livelihood. So, yeah, here we are now. Come back for part 2.
Oh, wow. So she didn't even really. Well, let's just touch on this and then we'll wrap it up. And you all let me know, as usual, if you want to see part two. I think I owe a part three or something. But let's just talk about the cognitive dissonance aspect for a second, and then we'll close it out. Because really think about the separation in your mind that you just made between a interaction with somebody. Here's what I mean. You met this woman who's on Section 8, and she gave you $6,000 like it was nothing and had flat screens and all type of stuff. So I'm going to just use myself as an example. For me, what that would be signaling to me is you're on Section 8. How do you just have 6,000 to just come off of like that? And then you've got all this stuff. That would signal to me that this is somebody who likes to possibly take advantage of things, maybe likes to loophole and skirt around the rules of certain things. And that would indicate to me like this is somebody that, one, you cannot, like, you can't be lax with this person. You've got to be on point at all times. If you do your inspections in 3-month intervals, you need to continue to do it so it doesn't stop. You need to be watching them. You need to be making everything very plain and clear. And for me, right, I'm just going off of what she's already in. But for me, that would have been enough for me to just not deal with that person, because that's a little strange. So, or just make sure I have a very strong understanding of what's going on. But honestly, just me seeing that would kind of give me insight into the character of a person, and I'd be like, this is my asset, this is my baby, and I don't even fully own this asset yet, because she said she got it passed down to her, but it still had the mortgage on it. So the last thing you want to happen is you have a Section 8 tenant damage a property in an insane way, especially you see she's getting emotional off you telling her you're going to do something that you've been told her that you were going to do. She's getting emotional just off that. So imagine what she could do, if you try to evict her or something. So now she can damage your property that you actually have a mortgage on maliciously. She can maliciously damage your property. So I just wouldn't even touch it with a 10-foot pole. But she decides she wanted to she decides she wanted to play her hand, play the cards, and see what would happen. Just because of COVID. For me, that wouldn't have been a good enough excuse. I'd rather just get a regular person. Trust me, there were people during COVID as well that were just regular tenants that still paid their rent and didn't abuse the rules. But that's why you have to look for people who don't abuse the rules. So that's ultimately what I'll say about that. Again, let me know if you want to see part 2. Also, again, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. And also, if you could hype the video. Hype is a feature that YouTube offers for smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So if you could hype as well. But if it's not there, if you could just like helps very much. And then also, Patreon's link below if you are interested in self-improvement content as well. You can check that out. It's pretty cheap. It's $4 or $5. But again, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks.